When it comes to a church cannot have as its defining goal trying simply to maximize attendance. That's a false goal in ministry. The first goal, the primary goal, is to be faithful, to be biblical. How people respond to that is in the Lord's hands, and we don't try to manipulate people to stay if they're not interested in biblical ministry. We looked at John chapter 6, verses 53 to 66, where we saw that thousands, if not tens of thousands of people walked away from Jesus Christ himself when he confronted them about the reality of what it meant to be a disciple of his. He went from a crowd of 20,000 to a crowd of about 12 in no time flat. So obviously, as shown by the example of Christ himself, it can't simply be about keeping everybody around, no matter their commitment, no matter whether they're born again or not. That can't be a primary motive in ministry. And I often think about this. I do. I often think about what the Apostle Paul said in his last letter in 2 Timothy, his last letter chronologically. He said, "Only Luke is with me." Here's this great apostle, stopped on the road to Damascus by the Lord Jesus Christ, whose letters we still read today, 2,000 years later, uniquely chosen as the apostle to the Gentiles by Jesus Christ. And he comes to the end of his life facing death, and who's around him? He says, "Luke's here. Bring the books, bring the parchment, leave the cloak behind. It gets cold here." Jesus Christ himself said the Son of Man has nowhere to lay his head. He hung alone after his disciples had fled from him. When he was arrested, he hung alone on the cross for our sake. Is it really too much, beloved, for us to endure a little bit of passing criticism and opposition in our lives, in our ministry? To have people turn away? If the crowds left Jesus, would we be despairing because some people turn against us privately, publicly, whatever? What's that? What kind of disciple of Christ responds to that preeminently? It's not about maximizing attendance.